Morning, everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me here to speak. As you see, I am not John. He has hurt his back. I keep being asked about how he hurt it, and the story I'm sticking to is that he was saving an orphan from a burning house. He's been holed up in bed since Sunday night. He is making a recovery, but unfortunately, he isn't able to come here today. But I am really delighted to be here because trust and winning the public's confidence in business is one of the key 5 themes that we're going to be working on at the CBI between now and the general election in the UK next May. And not only is it one of the themes, it's actually the most important, our headline theme. And the reason for that is quite simple. It's because we recognise the scale of the challenge we face, but also the importance that this is an issue that we must tackle. We know we're starting in a slightly better position. The Irish economy is doing better coming out of recession, so is the British economy. We're predicting in our latest forecast growth in the UK of 2.6% this year, so slightly higher than the OECD. We've also seen unemployment fall really very, very sharply in recent months and lots of new full-time permanent jobs being created. So there is a lot of good news, but we also know that we have a long way to go. It's been a very deep recession. Unemployment's still high, although it's been falling. But more importantly, people are really still feeling very, very squeezed when it comes to their living standards. So productivity is low and real wage growth has been negative throughout the recession. We know, therefore, that we face some of the challenges, same challenges as you face, but also, hopefully, can make the most of some of the opportunities going forward. We know that we need to have an economy and a recovery that is sustainable, and that makes a difference for everyone. And we know that that involves a more skilled, more productive workforce, better infrastructure, homes for people to live in, and also crucially for businesses in the UK, we know that we need to make sure that Britain stays in a reformed Europe. But of course, economic recovery doesn't equal reputational recovery. And ultimately, if we are to achieve all those things we want to achieve, we need to make sure that we have the confidence of the public. And whenever I talk to companies in the UK, and that's true for large and small firms and in all parts of the UK, this whole issue around reputation and trust is pretty much top of their agenda. And it's not surprising. We've had a lot of scandals throughout the recession, starting, of course, with the banking sector, but in the UK at least, then followed by other sectors, most recently the energy sector and companies delivering public services. And we have the spotlight shining on one industry, then it very quickly moves to another. And all these scandals have really eroded confidence in business leaders generally. None of us, I think, can be spared the glare of the investigators' torch in the court of public opinion. And to be honest, nor should we. If we want the public's trust, we have to earn it, and we have to be transparent in all our dealings. I don't know whether you've talked already or whether you're planning to, but we had the Edelman Trust Barometer released last month, and the figures for Ireland, I thought, made pretty sobering reading. It showed that 44% of people in Ireland said that they trusted business, and that was compared to 58% globally. Less than 10% of people believe that their business leaders can be trusted to make ethical or moral decisions, tell the truth, that was 8%, or solve social issues. So we're facing a problem. We've done our own research on UK specifically with Ipsos Mori at the CBI, and again that showed that business leaders are now one of the least trusted groups in society. We are right down there with politicians and with trade union leaders. The only group less trusted appears to be dentists. So I don't know if there are any dentists out here today, but if so, you'll face an even bigger challenge than we do. So responsible businesses have to understand their obligations. We know that we can't justify our operations and what we do if we don't fulfill our side of the bargain. And unless the public really does believe that we put our consumers, our employees, and our communities at the heart of what we do, then there is a real risk, I think, that we won't be listened to in big public debates about the future of our countries. So business leaders that we talk to week in and week out, they want to do something about it. And I think it's something we openly have to question what we do. And I think our starting point has to be that this goes much beyond the whole kind of CSR agenda. And one of our members likes to say that actually we have to understand that it isn't good enough to paint a school on a Saturday if you rape and pillage Monday to Friday. And ultimately, the core of the business is what we have to look at. And again, we asked the public what makes them trust a business. And what was really interesting was that they responded thinking as consumers. And what they said wasn't actually rocket science. They want great products, they want value for money, they want clear communications, and they want excellent customer service. What they don't like and what they don't want is lots of small print, dishonesty, products that don't deliver on their promises. And to be honest, I can't say I blame them, and I don't think any of us do. So the time, I think, has come to really tackle this head on. And I think our starting point has to be to really articulate that business is a force for good. We need to be out there and say and explain over and over again that businesses do create jobs. We pay wages that enable people to save and to spend. We pay taxes. 30% of all taxes in the UK, at least, are paid by business, and that pays for schools and hospitals. And we need to be clear about the fact that the only sustainable recovery ultimately is one that's built on private sector jobs and growth. But that won't be enough, because the truth is that business isn't perfect, and as in any walk of life, things go wrong and people do wrong. And to be honest, when business has done something wrong, we have to acknowledge that, I think, and we have to hold up our hands and we have to put it right. We need to show that we actually understand where the public has legitimate concerns about business practices, and we need to address it or explain why things are the way they are. So as part of this theme that we're working on between now and the election in the CBI, we are planning a public-facing campaign for the first time ever, quite brave, bold, but also very exciting. And we want to start to have a national conversation with the public about the role of business. And we want business leaders to engage directly with the public, talking about their concerns and really debating some of those tricky issues like tax, which you just talked about, Fergal. So in short, we want to get the country talking about business, about the contribution the business makes to the economy and society, about how it drives innovation, lowers prices, provides employment, pays for public services, but also that companies do need to do more. You've talked earlier, and I think it's true, actually, the rules of the game have changed. We won't go back to the kind of practices of the past. Transparency is here to stay, and we should embrace it. We should be clear about the fact that we need to be more open, more transparent, that executive pay should be linked to performance. They should never be rewards for failure or mediocre performance. We should be genuinely looking at how we can progress people at the bottom end of the labour market. How do we make their pay go up and help them move into better paid jobs? Things like prompt payment about small suppliers in large firm supply chains are just some of the issues I think we need to be tackling. So I think if John was here today, he would have said something like, we must be doing good by doing good business. And that's one of the kind of principles that the CBI works under, and whether it's large firms or small firms. And I think ultimately, if we want to counter the anti-business rhetoric, if we want to win back the public's confidence in business, and if we want to tackle some of the really very big challenges we face, a good starting point would be for us all to say that we can be proud of doing good business. Thank you very much.